चित्तपिंड की जय। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Proji, for a very wonderful class. Proji, one point it really hit me was about sarcastic remarks. Like you mentioned, how this king is sarcastically chastising this Jad Bharata. And we see many places in Bhagavatam, these sarcastic remarks are used. Like Shringi he is doing sarcastic remarks against Parishit Maharaj. So, Proji, how to understand this? Because sarcastically, if we say something to some devotee, he will feel so bad. So can we use this in Krishna's service? Or if it is not, then how to understand that these examples are given in Srimad Bhagavatam? Please explain, Prabhuji.
You are saying how can we use sarcastic remarks in Krishna's service?
If possible, Prabhuji. If it is...
If it is possible.
Yeah.
You are trying to see some positivity in it.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You want to do it.
No, Prabhuji.
Generally, the nature of the personality traits. I myself have that tendency, so I can talk about it. We have a tendency to speak sarcastic. Sarcastic remark means what? As I said, in terms of Rahugana, what we hear, oh, your body is so young, the body is so weak, he has grown old, looks like the other three are not cooperating with you. It's exactly the opposite, right? He wants to say the other, but he's speaking like this. It actually comes out of a tendency of a superiority complex, where one feels above, and it actually, he knows that this will actually affect him more. It's like, there are different ways of which one may show the reaction or a response. Sometimes a person just speaks harshly. So there are some people who feel that, at least you communicate. If you keep mum, then I don't know anything. So some people choose to keep mum, some people speak out harshly, and some people a little more elevated speak sarcastic remarks. What hurts whom depends on our personality also. There is a personality of the speaker and there is a personality of the hearer. So some people, they are comfortable to say, whatever it is, tell it right on the face. But if you tell sarcastically, it hurts me. There are others who say that, see, even if I'm wrong, but don't tell me on the face, you correct it in an indirect way. Right? So there are, depending on our personalities, we will take it different. Different people may get hurt differently. Unfortunately, sometimes some sarcastic remarks, people may take it as a glory. Oh, he's telling me I am so young. He's telling me that others are actually not cooperating. This is, if we are in ignorance, we will actually start feeling, actually what he's saying, wonderful. But he is in so much ignorance that he is not able to understand. Actually, it is against him, but he is taking it as on face value. So that will show the ignorance. So different, as per our personality, it may hurt differently. So if and in this is kind of cases where one can actually speak out. Maybe if you deal this way, it will be better for me. But from the perspective of the hearer, again, he is also sort of conditioned with his personality. He is more comfortable in sarcasm than in direct or keeping mum. So every one of us has to work depending on whether we are the speaker or the hearer. But sarcastic speech to be engaged in the glory of Krishna. Maybe you can hear the great words of the how acharyas give commentary on the sarcastic speeches given by apparently people who are conditioned or getting demoniac, like we see Indra is speaking about Lord Shri Krishna. Balisham, small boy, talkative, and so. But if you hear the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, each of those words, the bhushan becomes dushan becomes bhushan. The apparent blemish can be seen as very beautiful words. Lord Shri Krishna, when he was speaking to Rukmini, Krishna says, now this is a time when Rukmini has, both of them have children, their children are married, and of course we know 16,108 wives, and it's a great kingdom in Dwarka. At this point of time, when Krishna has grandchildren, he's telling to Rukmini, why don't you get married to someone else? Why did you choose me of all the people? Shishupal was already ready. In fact, it was arranged for you. And by the way, there were so many other personalities. By the way, people don't even know my caste. And then he went on to say so many things. And Rukmini couldn't take that so much that she fainted. So maybe afterwards, Rukmini would have had a discussion. See, don't speak like this. You can speak, be mom, you can speak right directly or whatever, but this is something I can't take it. Right?
Guruji, just last point I wanted to ask. Like Bhagavatam, we say a spotless Purana, but then we see such chastisements which is given to devotees in Bhagavatam also. So how to understand it?
Well, chastisement, sorry.
Like in Shringi's case, Prabhuji, like we read Shringi's indirectly he's chastising Parikshit Maharaj.
So what is
So
about
he used
Shringi,
some
sir?
sarcastic words, like the king is like a dog or something like that he says. So indirectly he's speaking bad words against pure devotees. So how to understand this, Prabhuji?
Well, definitely that is not something that we have to follow in the footsteps. That is something we have, some from the scriptures, we know how to behave, and we also know how not to behave. Some people teach us how to behave, and some people teach us how not to behave. In both cases, they are glorious. By the criticism. Well, that is, and of course, some things can be taken as their personality. Second thing is, it's ultimately will of the Lord. There is providence. There are multiple factors. At various levels, things are arranged. I mean, ultimately, it was arranged in a way that ultimately Srimad Bhagavatam has to descend for the benefit of all of us, the humankind. So there had to be a situation. We can see again Sarmishtha and Devayani. You'll find, or you find, when basically anything you take, Daksha Prajapati's Yagya, so many things, there is back and forth things will go on. And sarcastically, again, Daksha also says, oh, somehow I gave, but initially he starts with saying, actually I don't have any envy towards Shiva. He starts with this, but then what he speaks is all sarcastic, and then eventually he goes on to blasphemy also. So there is not something that we have to follow in the footsteps. We should know that, okay, this is not something I should refrain from this. This is something I cannot. And what to speak of when it is directed towards a great soul. That's why we see, when we are neophyte, we don't know what kind of a problem or what kind of a difficulty I may cause. What is the impact? If you talk about impact analysis, what is the impact I have caused by my one statement or by my some slight behavior? It can sometimes be just a looking of the glance or from the talks. My speech and my behavior, what impact it has caused. The more neophyte we are, the more unconscious we are. The more we mature and become more sensitive, the more conscious we are. Which is why you find Shringi reacted like this. But how did Shamik Rishi react? He felt pained. He felt so disturbed, he did not, he immediately felt, let me at least go and inform. Let us inform the king, because if 7 days afterwards the king suddenly, because he thought at least let him prepare. Shamik Rishi but he was feeling so disturbed. He was not feeling that why Parikshit Maharaj why did Parikshit Maharaj offend me? He did not take that as offense. Rather, he was more disturbed by the child's reaction. That's why it is said sometimes people are more disturbed by the response that we give or the reaction that we give for an apparent mistake that has happened. The response can be sometimes more ghastly than the original mistake itself. What Parikshit Maharaj did was a slight thing, and which can be sort of ignored. We're not saying that was wonderful to do, but definitely that can be something ignored, and not a very big thing. But the punishment meted out, that he has to leave his body in 7 days, that was something very enormous, Herculean, and that is not something to be given. What to speak of for a Vaishnava, what to speak of for a Raja Rishi. So that was definitely not accepted. So Shamik Rishi responded very differently. So we learn from Shamik Rishi that he felt really pained about it. So we should not follow Shringi, but Shamik Rishi is more better in terms of teaching. Hare Krishna. You want to add something? You want to add something?
This Guruji, is it required that